Most people know if their diet isn't healthy, but knowing and making that change is two very different things. So if you're somebody who's reluctant to make those changes in your diet, then watch this video and I might just change your mind. Hi, my name is Sorcha. I'm a nutritionist and healthy lifestyle blogger from Ireland, and on this channel I help make healthy living simple because it doesn't have to be complicated. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell for more realistic nutrition and well-being advice videos for you to help you get healthier. And also, if you would like my more personalized nutrition services, then check out my website. There are so many reasons why people are reluctant to change their diet from what they're used to and maybe make healthy changes to their diet. One of the reasons is taste buds. Our taste buds will rebel against us if we stop eating the foods that we're used to eating. Mainly foods that are very high in sugar and salt. Now we have 5 taste buds. So you've got sweet, salty, sour, bitter and umami, which is kind of savoury kind of flavours. Salty foods, if you eat a lot of salty foods, if you cut back on the salty foods after 3 weeks, you will become more sensitive to salt, meaning you won't need as much on your food to taste it. So if you're somebody who piles on the salt on everything, cut back. It won't be easy for the first week or two, but by the 3rd week, you will find that you won't need as much salt on the food. Same with sugar. The more sugar you eat, the more you crave it. So I done a video on some people find that they are addicted to sugar because they're constantly craving sweet foods. This has to do with gut health, but it also is related to your taste buds. If you cut back on sugary foods, then you won't crave them as much. So definitely check out that video if you're somebody who has a very sweet tooth. Another video that you should check out is the one I done on processed food, where I talk about highly palatable foods. These are foods that are high in sugar, salt, and saturated fat. These 3 flavours are related to what's called the bliss point. Food manufacturers, they hire scientists to make foods taste good so that we want to keep eating them. So if you've ever started eating something and you know you're full, your stomach is telling you to stop, but your brain is telling you keep going, those are highly palatable foods. And they're fine once in a while, but eating them all the time is not going to be good for you. So the thing is, you don't need to worry. You're not hooked for life. You just need to cut back slowly. Cutting out, going cold turkey will very rarely work for people, but taking it one step at a time, maybe starting something like putting less sugar in your tea, something as simple as that, going from 2 teaspoons to 1, and then going from 1 to half, and then half a teaspoon to none. Next big reason is convenience. We all love convenient food. I love convenient food. Foods that are quick to make, minimal washing up. That's what we want. Everybody, especially if you have a busy lifestyle. But the thing is, things like takeaways, ready meals, all those foods, eating them all the time is not going to be good for you. And you're going to realise that when you cut back on them, how good you feel. I have so many recipes. I love convenience, so I love things that are quick, easy to make, don't have a lot of washing up to do afterwards either. If you check out my recipes, that's basically what they are. But they're made from scratch. And I think a lot of people have lost the ability to make things from scratch. If you can boil water, then you can cook. That's what I think. You don't have to be a professional chef to make food that tastes good. And even though it might be very tempting on your way back from a long day of work to just stop at the chip shop and get a takeaway or Chinese, or have a ready meal in the fridge that you just pop in the microwave. Taking just that little bit of extra time when you have it to prepare things, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have so much more energy as well, and it really will benefit. So take it slowly. Try preparing your meals in advance for the week. Do it 1 week and see how good you feel, and you won't want to stop. We are creatures of habit. This means that whatever you were raised on, the food you were raised eating, it can be very difficult to move away. Now, some people completely change their diets when they grew up, when they moved out, or when they got their own place. A lot of people don't. So if you grew up in Ireland eating spuds, veg, meat, that's probably your idea of dinner. And moving away from that can be difficult, but be open-minded. Also, you might have had bad experiences with food as a child, especially vegetables. I think a lot of people, when they were younger, they were forced to eat vegetables that were like boiled to death and weren't very appetizing, and then obviously that gives you the idea that vegetables are not very nice. But if you try them again, cook them differently. Stir fries are a great way to get vegetables in, and just try them again. Your taste buds change as you grow up as well. So something you might not have liked as a child, you might like now. So try it again. You need to try something at least 3 times before you can make up your mind and decide, like, I really don't like this. Like, I tried beetroot, and I tried it, like properly tried it, and I don't like it. So I don't like beetroot. But there's so many other vegetables and fruit and foods out there that I do like. So you need to be open-minded and try not to get the same thing every time you're out, like when you're eating out. If you're somebody who always orders chicken goujons, no matter where you go, then try something new. If the place you're going to does really good chicken goujons, that's fine, but try something new. Broaden your horizons when it comes to your diet, and you will find that you will be including a lot more healthier foods. A lot of my videos look at shopping on a budget, and the truth is, there was a study done in Ireland that showed that households on low income do find it difficult to afford healthy foods. And this isn't right. It shouldn't be more expensive to eat healthy, but unfortunately, it can be. But there is ways to eat healthy on a budget. You just have to shop smart. By shopping smart, I mean plan ahead. So plan what meals you're going to have for the week. You can pre-prepare them or just have them planned. This is great for when you're doing your grocery shopping. Check out some of my videos on how I make my grocery list and have it so that I have everything for the week. Another thing is save your leftovers. So if you've made like a big pot of cottage pie and there's some left over, put it into a container and put it in the freezer. And then someday that maybe you didn't have time to cook, you'd be able to take that out. And it's still well, it's not fresh, it's frozen, but it's still home cooked meal. So saving your leftovers. Also, like if you've made, say, spaghetti bolognese and there's pasta left over, don't throw that pasta out. Put it in, toss it in some olive oil to stop it like sticking together, and put it in like a little plastic bag or container in the fridge. You can use it for a pasta salad or something and for your lunch later on in the week. So leftovers can be used for other meals. Shop around. If you're always going to the same supermarket, sometimes you could be missing out on saving. So it can be difficult for some people, maybe getting to certain grocery stores. It's easier to get to one more than it is to other. But if you can, shop around, look around and see Well, actually, it's cheaper to buy my vegetables in Tesco than it is in Aldi. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying it is, but you know what I mean? Don't be stuck with the same supermarket. And also, don't be stuck on brand names. I mentioned it before. A lot of the time, the supermarket brands are made in the same factories as the expensive brands. And they're very similar recipes. The only difference is they don't have the fancy packaging. In terms of quality and nutrition, they are just as good. Sometimes they might even have less sugar in them, or they might have more fiber in them. So don't be stuck on brands, and also supermarket brands a lot cheaper. So if you stick to the supermarket brands, your grocery list will go way down. When you see offers for foods that are long shelf life, so that would be pasta, rice, like dried foods, canned foods, frozen foods, buy them in bulk, because especially if frozen foods, if you have a freezer as well, but things like pasta and rice and canned foods, they don't go off, so you can buy them in bulk. Beans as well, great source of fiber, great source of protein, not very expensive. You can buy them in bulk. That would also save you money. You might have heard people advising you to buy fresh fruit and veg in season. The reason is, number one, the quality wise they're better, but number two, they're less expensive when they're in season. So if you try to buy strawberries in November, they're probably going to be more expensive than when you try to buy them in the summertime. I think it's about July that strawberries are actually like ready to eat. So buy in season. It might mean that certain fruits or vegetables that you like aren't available to you, but you can also get them frozen then. So frozen fruit and veg are just as nutritious, if not more, because they're picked and frozen straight away, so they don't lose the nutrients. As soon as fruit or vegetables are picked, then the nutrients, they start losing their nutrients. Now, this doesn't mean fresh fruit and vegetable isn't good either, but frozen are just as good as well. Another thing is cuts of meat. Certain cuts of meat are less expensive, but they're not less nutritious. For example, the chicken thigh is less expensive than the chicken breast. So also red meat as well, certain cuts of red meat as well are less expensive. You might need to cook them differently, but they can be really tasty and a lot less expensive. Finally, information overload. So hopefully this video wasn't information overload, but that is another reason why people just don't bother trying to eat healthier, because there's so much information out there, you don't know what to believe. Like, who do you believe? I would recommend the only people you get nutrition advice from is reputable sites, such as the HSE, the NHS, health website like that, your doctors, physicians, your dietitians and nutritionists. Somebody who managed to lose weight and is like decided, well, I done it this way, so I'm going to show everybody my way. It worked for them. Well done to them for doing it. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else. And they're not qualified to give advice to other people. And it can be very hard then if it's not working for you. Also, like, you probably know this already, there's like a billion fad diets out there that are a load of crap. And they don't work. They might work short term and you think great, and then long term you realize they're not. Also, if you find that you're always dieting, just think, why do you have to keep dieting? Should it not work the first time? Though, just keep it simple. Make small changes, small baby steps at a time. Don't restrict yourself or say, I can't eat that, I'm trying to lose weight. I can't eat that, I'm trying to be healthier. That's not good for me. That's not good for me. Never think that. Food is food. If you listen to your body, it will tell you if you're doing right. If you don't feel good, then very, very likely it's your diet. Now, it could be other things, but most of the time it is something to do with your diet. So it needs to change. Especially if you maybe are on a diet and you don't feel good and you think, oh, this is just like the first couple of weeks I'm going to feel like this. No diet should make you feel unwell at any point. So it's not for you. The biggest thing I would tell people trying to eat healthier is start by trying to increase your fiber intake. This, number one, fiber fills you up. It fills you up so you won't have room for unhealthy foods. Number two, it is so good for your overall health, but especially your gut health. And your gut is like your second brain. So if you have a healthy gut, you have a healthy brain. And if you have a healthy brain, you have a healthy body. It's like probably the most underrated nutrient out there because very little people get enough. Like the minimum is recommended is 25 grams, and the average 80% of people in Ireland, the average is about less than 10 grams a day. So 25 to 38 is what you're aiming for. You could go higher, but 25 to 38. And it isn't difficult to get that 25 grams in a day. So I'm going to show you now exactly kind of an example of what you would eat that would get you 25 grams a day. So I've got 2 slices of homemade bread and 129 grams of cooked baked beans. So that's the average portion. So already, say that's my breakfast. I've got 9 grams of fiber. Now I could maybe have an egg or something with that or some fruit, but that is already 9 grams. Now for my dinner, I'm going to have 125 grams of cooked wholemeal pasta. So that's 6 grams of fiber. 85 grams of cooked from frozen vegetables, so carrots and peas, that's another 2 grams, and about 78 grams of broccoli. So that's also 2 portions of vegetables. And then I've got raspberries, so that would be my snack, and a medium orange. So I've got roughly 5 portions of, I'll probably add 1 more portion of fruit in there, but that comes to 27 grams of fiber, and that could easily be more. Like that's not a lot of food. Like I haven't added in my protein sources or anything, but that's how easy it is to get 25 grams of fiber in. So my 3 tips for you if you are still feeling reluctant to change your diet and make it healthier. Number 1 is swap the salt for herbs and spices. Experiment around, look up recipes, but herbs and spices will give flavour to your food and it will lower the salt intake, which will let your taste buds kind of adapt to more unprocessed foods. Number 2 is cook more. So whether it means buy yourself a cookbook and pick out random recipes every so often, or go online and try out different recipes. Don't stick to the same kind of recipes all the time either. Try something new. Like you might not like it, but you might love it. So that will make your diet more varied and include more foods. And then finally, number 3, make sure you try a food properly before you decide you don't like it. So remember, you need to try at least 3 times before you can decide whether you like it or not. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and a share. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel.